Hey folks, Ronan here from Square One Coaching. Just giving you a little rundown of the remote program that I'm going to be doing over the next little while. There are some ways to really optimize using it, some things that I just want you to be aware of, so I just wanted to go through them just in this quick little video. Alright, so first thing to go through, I want you to download the TrueCoach app. So easy to download app on your iOS phone. I've either already sent you the link or I'm going to send you the link. Easy to use on your iPhone, messaging platform, access to their programs, all these different things on it, so it's really handy. As I said, you'll be able to talk to us through that, so anything about the program, you'll be able to ask us questions on it, and we'll check in with you on all sorts. We'll even be able to send you over documents and stuff like that, so make sure you download it. If you don't have an iOS phone, like an Apple phone, that's fine. You'll still be able to access it through your web browser. Alright? Next, follow the sets and reps as shown and feel free to add to them. So the one thing, because we're kind of training at home, is I've just given sort of a brief recommendation as to kind of sets and reps. Like, best thing to do is stick to the set reps. It's going to be very similar to the program that we do already. 4 sets on the first 2 exercises, an A1 and A2. 3 sets on the next 2 exercises, a B1 and a B2, and then 3 sets on the third exercise, the C1 and C2. Likely taking a little bit of a rest in between your 2 exercises. You know, you're doing your first one, your A1, you're doing your second one, your A2, then you're resting, going back and so forth. You'll see it kind of laid out in the program itself. But sets and rep wise, you can add to it as you want. Add in, like, you'll see there's a range there. If you want to add in more, if it's potentially very easy, go ahead. The range is there to reduce back to as well if it's a movement you're finding particularly difficult. Either regress the movement or go back in terms of reps, okay? Another point is pay close attention to the tempo given on each exercise. So considering we're training at home, we maybe don't have access to as much weights or as many weights as we really have access to here. A lot of the movements are body weight. So the tempo on each exercise is really important. The tempo, you'll see it written down as like 0, 3, 1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 2, something like that. The 0 is kind of like the start. Think of that as like just spend no time dilly-dallying in between reps. The second number you usually see is the negative portion. So that's your tempo on the way down. So if you think of a body weight squat, you start at the top, you stand up tall, you descend on the way down. That's your time taken to really get to the bottom position. So we can either drop straight down, which is essentially like 0. We can slowly descend for about 1 second. We can delay it even further by going for 2 seconds, or like in the sessions where we say kind of take about 3 seconds on the way down. That would be your 3. Your 1 is the next number then is how much you want to pause at the bottom position. That is essentially like an isometric. So if it's 0, come straight back up. If it's 1, I want you to pause there for a full second. And then the 4th and final number is how long it should take you to perform the concentric number. So that's the way kind of up. So if we go back to the squat, your 0 would be just start the rep straight away. Your 3 would be take 3 seconds to get down. Your 1 would then be pause for a full second. And then your 1 would be just come back up as quickly as you can as well. And then once again, you go back again, 0, 3, 1, 1. It would be take 0 seconds. So just go straight into the next rep, spend no time wasting, and then go from there, okay? So certain exercises, tempo is going to be given. Other exercises, it doesn't say any tempo, so just continue on as is and think of it as just like make sure it's controlled, make sure you're doing it well, but don't worry about it too much in terms of tempo if it's not given, okay? Next point to make, videos will run through the most advanced movement and then regressions after. So you'll see by the videos, when you click into it initially, you're going to see a video of me performing it. You're then going to see me break it down, showing the most advanced version, and then into what would be your regression. So feel free to regress as needed if you feel like you're not really getting the motion, or it's maybe too difficult at this moment in time. There's regressions there, as they would be in the class. Control over intensity. So given that we can't necessarily add intensity in terms of weight lifted, we might find an exercise like we can do it till the cows come home. Make sure you're prioritizing control, so you're not just kind of going through the motions and doing rep after rep after rep. Like I have it with the tempo, I want you to control what you're doing rather than thinking that you need to go crazy with the movement that you're given, unless otherwise stated, okay? Follow the given rest intervals. So you'll see after, so A1 and A2 means that you're performing those 2 exercises one after the other. And then where it says rest, that's your rest interval. before going back to A1. So if it's a minute to about a minute and a half on most, that's what I want you to follow, okay? Add weight when you can. I want you to be creative here. So if you have a small child at home, pick them up and go for your goblet squat. If you have a dog, you could do something like that. Think of what we usually do in class. We front load it, we load 2 things by our side. Get creative. 2 luggage bags at home, 2 sports bags in hand with sort of even weights. Obviously, if you have any weights, that's perfect. But in terms of adding weight to the movement, be as creative as you can. If there's any questions that you have for us, of course, get on to us. We'll help you out just to give you some ideas there. But just be creative. Think of what you could do to add to it, okay? Equipment is welcome. So as I said there, if you've got anything like the TRX straps at home, any bands and stuff like that, certainly use them. Add in exercises as you feel free. To chop and change out of the exercises that we've given you and let us know, all right? Ask us for help and we'll gladly get back to you, okay? So the messaging platform on the app, you'll see it down the bottom as one of your kind of 3 options. You'll be able to message us and just ask us any questions, keep in touch with us. So any questions about movements, anything like that, please let us know. Leave comments on the movement. So yeah, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to help you out more directly if on each exercise, you're gonna see, you can tick it off to say that you kind of completed it. You can let us know the sets and reps that you did. So that's what I want you to dot in the sets and reps, the weight, if there was any, and how it felt. So like we would in a session, we want you to have a bit of a dialogue with us. We want to, go back and forth about kind of how the movement felt, where it was really troubling you. Was there any sort of pain in any specific areas? Just try to think of it as like, give us as much information as possible on that. Write down as much as you can, how different sets felt, whether you fatigued very quickly. Just give us as much information as we can and we'll try to get back to you with some tips, anything that we can kind of help you to progress the movement, okay? Record videos. So yeah, another thing that we can kind of use over the next period of time to make sure that you're doing things correctly is recording your videos. So just try to think of it as like, get as much of you in view as you can. Set your camera up in the corner, press record, step over, do your exercise, and then just send it on. And in the app, I'm going to do up a separate video that's going to show you how to actually use the app itself and how we want you to lay out the program or how we want you to give the exercise back to us. But yeah, record your videos, as many as you kind of feel is necessary. If you feel you're nailing a movement, maybe not as necessary. If you're having trouble with a movement, definitely get back to us on it, okay? Be strict on your technique. So I'm not there. I can't really see what you're doing. So I want you to be your own best critic or your own worst critic. Try to just be strict on yourself and say, okay, am I really performing this to the best of my capabilities? Am I just rushing through it? Am I just going through the motions? Like I say in most things, the intent behind it is really, really important. Tightening up your core, slowing things down, really doing it to the best of your control. Think now that we don't have much equipment to use or now that we don't have much weight to add, these things become super, super important now. So the tension that you hold your body is going to be really important. So staying braced throughout, engaging your legs as you really squat down, really, really slowly, pausing, coming back up, but coming back up and really squeezing your muscles rather than just driving straight back up. So now the focus, as opposed to being on lifting the most weights as possible, is really on just getting as better connection as you can with your body, okay? Most of all, the most important point, have some fun. All right? Best of luck, folks.